This conference will now be recorded.
Let us talk about the basic company's business process today. Right? Company's business process. Before we understand any further points related to SAP FICO or SAP, we need to have a little clarity about this. If you're not having any clarity on company's business process at a very basic level, we're not going in detail. At a very basic level, if you're able to understand what it is, then this allows you to conceptually relate all your SAP FICO content or your basic fundamental knowledge from a project point of view or as a consultant, what is expected from you in any organization or in any project. Without having company's business process understanding, business process knowledge, practically it is very, very difficult for any consultant to work in any project. Okay. Now here what we need to do, we need to start understanding from a company. In general, if you're talking about a company or any organization or any business in short, okay, you may be doing business in the form of setting up a company, organization, or in terms of anything. Since you're talking about SAP here, in order to use SAP, you must be a well-established company, meaning small companies, initial startup companies cannot afford SAP. Keep in your mind, you're learning SAP FICO, you want to become a SAP FICO consultant. SAP is an application which cannot be afforded by all the organizations. Especially small companies, new startup companies cannot go for SAP. They will always look for a small ERPs like your Tally, these kind of a thing, because those are less expensive. Those are less expensive and your company cannot afford it. Why your company cannot afford it? Because your company cannot see that much revenue there. If your company can make more profits, they can invest more money in applications or in software. If your company's revenue is less, if company's sales are less, then no company will definitely go for high investment on any application, right? Now, when you're talking about any organization or any business in simple words, now the whole objective of making any business or making any organization or making any company is to make profit. The whole objective of any organization at the end is to make profit. Is this a statement correct? Whenever you make any business, your whole objective is to make profit. Anybody is doing business or anybody wants to set up a business with an intention of not getting any profit or with an intention of getting losses. Anybody purposefully does it?
No,
Yes, no.
no.
Your whole objective is simply to make profit. Now, in order to make profit, what you are supposed to do, when you will get profit, based which activity will result profit?
Sales, sales, more sales.
Sales activities.
Right? In short, sales will result in profit. In short, sales will result in profit. When you're talking about sales, what are you going to sell? What will you sell?
Sells the product
Services.
services.
In services.
Product.
What is the other term for services? What is that other
Like
than service? No, no, other than
other ki-
service. Service is correct. What else you will sell other than service?
material,
Raw
like
materials.
raw material.
Material. In short, goods and services. Agree? This is correct. You are going to make sales and you will be selling either a good or a product. In short, either a material or a service. Am I correct?
Yeah,
You will be selling either a product or a service. Product is nothing but goods. Or let me replace if this is confusing. Normally we represent goods and services. Even when your taxes, it comes as GST, goods and services tax. Goods is represented by products or materials here. Okay. Now, in order to sell a product or in order to sell a service, you need to have something with you. You need to have something with you. There are two ways that you can get a product. Service is something that you're not manufacturing, but product is something that you need to manufacture or you need to purchase it. Now, these are the two ways how you're going to get a product or a goods with you. You're not going to do any magic to bring the product just like that. You need to either perform production activity, in short, manufacturing, or you'll have to purchase from the outside. Am I correct? Or any other possibility?
Yeah, you're correct.
Yes, sir.
Alright, I need to make sure either I have to produce the product or I need to purchase the product. Producing is nothing but manufacturing, purchasing is nothing but your procurement. So here I may say manufacturing or purchasing or procurement. Manufacturing is nothing but your production, procurement is nothing but your purchases. Now, in order to do a manufacturing, you have a different process, okay? And in order to procurement, you have a different process. Here, you will be manufacturing goods. Agree? Here, you will be purchasing goods only. Sometimes you can also purchase services. You may be purchasing the service from somebody else and then you may be selling it to somebody else. In between, you are getting some kind of commission profit margin. So that is also possible, but I'm not writing services at this moment. To avoid the confusion, let us understand only goods here. Now, in order to do any manufacturing, in order to make any purchases, what do you need?
Raw materials.
What do you need?
Raw material.
You need money or you need material. How you will get material if you don't have money?
Capital
Material
cost.
is
Need a
something that is
material
already here.
capital.
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 Alright, procurement is where it is all about materials. Now, in order to get material, in order to purchase material, in order to manufacture material, you need money to operate all these activities. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right? You need finance. You need finance. Now, is it something straight away you need finance or the money, whatever you have, if you don't have any control on the money, is it possible to spend money in the effective way or you can spend money just like that if there is no control?
There is a control.
Effectively.
Right? Control
Not
is
everything.
required or not? Like I have
Controlling
given you
required.
some 200,000. Now I have not given you anything. I have not told you anything. You, okay, we want to do business. Then I gave you 200,000 or 2 lakh. Now you may be spending money in any things which may be required, which may not be required. Instead of spending 5,000 rupees, you may end up spending 8,000 rupees, meaning you are spending money unnecessarily. You are spending money unnecessarily where it is not required. So here you need some kind of control for money or the expenses, things that you are investing. For that one, what you need to have control. You need to have control on your finance. And then to do all these activities, you need manpower or not.
Yeah,
Right? Without
manpower
manpower,
needed.
right? So then you need also manpower is required or staff is required in short. Instead of manpower, let's talk about staff. You need or you require staff. Assuming these are the basic fundamentals. Assuming these are the basic fundamentals that are minimum required for any organization to run or to operate. Now, first thing, when you're talking about sale, you're talking about the first thing because this is the last point. Because we're not going from starting point to ending point. Instead, we are coming from ending point to starting point. Because when you talk about any organization, every organization's intention is to generate profit. Now, how profit is coming if I put it at the end? If I start talking from you need man, you need machinery, labor, all this kind of a thing, we will not be able to practically relate it. But instead, if you try to represent it from the reverse, let's say that you're doing business, you want to make profit. If you know that you will get loss by doing this business, nobody will start any business because they say that no, I know that this is going to give me losses. I don't want to take any risk. I don't want loss. I'm not going to do this business. But instead, if you plan everything, when I say if you plan everything, if you know what activities are required, what is the sequence that I need to follow, accordingly you will take a decision whether this is going to be beneficial for you or not. Assuming you thought that yes, this is going to work out for me, I am expecting or I'm able to foresee some profits here. What you will do, you thought that okay, this business, it can be any business. We're not specifically representing XYZ business. This can be any business. You can imagine any nature of a business according to your understanding because any business will follow the same logic. Now, we wanted to make profit. Profits are possible only when you do sales. Profits are possible only when you do sales. When you're talking about sale, you need to sell either a product or a service. You need to sell either a product or a service. Other than product, other than service, usually we don't sell anything. In short, you'll have to know what is my product in the market, how customer is going to come to me to buy. What customer is going to purchase? Customer will buy either a product from you or a service that you are offering. Now, in order to provide a service or a goods or in short a product, you need to make sure that products or services are available with you. You need to make sure those products or services are available with you. How you will make sure that the product or service is available? With the help of 2 points. Point number one, you can make sure that the product is manufactured by you. You can make sure that you manufacture the product in-house or you're producing the product in your organization itself. This is point number one. When it comes to a material, when it comes to a product, you say that yes, we are manufacturing the product in-house or we are the own manufacturers of our product. This is point number one. Or you can say that no, we are not manufacturing this product because if we manufacture, this is becoming more expensive for me. Instead, what we are doing, we are procuring from outside. We are buying from the wholesalers or from different dealers, distributors, and then we are selling it to our customer. And then our dealer is giving it 100 rupees. We are selling to the customer at 130 rupees. This 30 rupees is our profit margin. Okay. In short, point number one, whatever the product that you're selling to your customer, either you can manufacture the product on your own within your organization called as production or manufacturing. Otherwise, you can buy it directly from the external sources, meaning from the open market, you can buy from any dealer or any manufacturer or anybody else. Then you will get the product supplied from the third party and then you will be selling it to the customer. Here you are talking about purchasing or manufacturing of a product. But when it comes to service you cannot manufacture it because service does not have any physical form to it. When you're talking about service doesn't have any physical form to it. Service is something that cannot be seen, that cannot be touched. It is invisible. Service is invisible. Unlike a product, unlike a material, I cannot physically see and touch the product. Sorry, service. But whereas when it comes to a product, you can physically see the product, you can touch the product. Since service cannot be seen, service cannot be touched, what you will do, you cannot store the service. When I say you cannot store the service, like I put the material in the display box, when a customer comes, I can show that this is the product that you are going to buy, which color you want, which size you want. In this dimensions, I cannot apply, or in this dimensions, I cannot represent, I cannot fix anything to my customer because service is invisible. Now here what I can do, I need the service providers with me. In place of a service, what I'll do, I need service provider. Who is service provider? It can be technician or anybody. Depending on what service you are offering, the person who is going to do that service is a service person or is a service deliverer. Now the person who is delivering the service, you need to make sure that staff is available. The person who is providing service is something that you need to keep in your organization so that whenever there is a requirement from any customer to get any service done, it can be any kind of service based on nature of a business that you're doing. Depending upon that, you will be deciding these are the services that we are offering. To provide, to deliver that service, you will have some employees. Now these things also you can have it. Services you will not be manufacturing. Services are only provided directly to the customer. Point number one, You will have in-house employees who can provide the service, or based on the order, based on the customer, you say that, okay, currently we don't have this service available with us, or the technician person who can deliver this service is not with us. What we will do, we will buy from the outside. When I say we will buy from the outside, they will say that somebody who can provide the service, they will procure or they will bring from outside, some third party person, and they will pay some amount to the third party person. They will charge some amount from the customer, and the difference between the customer amount and then the third party person amount will become your profit margin. Not necessarily that every time everything is available with the organization. Certain things are within the organization, certain things are from outside the organization, depending on the business. Every company will do cost benefit analysis. Based on the cost benefit analysis, they will see whether having internally is beneficial, or getting it from external sources at that moment is beneficial. If it is a regular usage, if it is a regular practice for you, then you definitely want to have it with you. If it is not a regular this one, your investment and all is more to set up that process. You say that, okay, at this moment we don't need, because we don't see a lot of business in it. Companies will think multiple times before taking any decision, before spending any money. It's not that just like that you and I decide, okay, let me spend here, let's see, we'll take a risk. Company will not do it, because many things are involved there, many approvals, many stakeholder confirmations are required. So just like that, no company, no organization will take the decisions. It is purely dependent on so many approvals. It is purely dependent on so many thought processes. Okay. Now, this is about your manufacturing. When you're talking about manufacturing product, you can manufacture in-house or you can get it from the outside. Otherwise, you will be doing the procurement. Procurement is nothing but purchasing. Sometimes, if you're not manufacturing the product, to sell to the customer, you need to purchase the product. Or for you to manufacture the product, you need some input materials or raw material. This raw material, input material, whatever you require, you may have to purchase from outside. Not everything can be manufactured. Not everything can be manufactured. Certain products only can be manufactured. Certain products cannot be manufactured. Instead, what we will do, we will get it from outside and then you will be using it, either for your manufacturing process or directly to sell it to the customer. But depending on the process, which activity we will be doing at what stage, why we are doing, basic fundamentals we must be aware. Straight away, if we jump into SAP FICO, FICO, accounting and all, you will only understand the technical point of SAP FICO. You will never be able to understand what is the business process. And once you are clear with the business process, these things, whatever you're talking from FICO perspective, you can practically relate. Okay, this is used because of this purpose. Otherwise, what will happen? You will be able to know everything, but you cannot relate it to anything practically. Or tomorrow, when somebody is asking a scenario question, or you have to explain it to somebody else. This is the purpose of it. I know this functionality. Other than technical components of SAP FICO, you will not be able to relate it with any example. That is where people will get disappointed. That is where people will feel, no, I'm not okay with the candidate, because you're not relating it with any business process. You're not connecting your understanding to a relatable process. You'll have to relate it with any one of the business process, not necessarily this business, that business. It can be any business. End of the day, make sure you're comfortable with it. For you to feel comfortable, whatever the example you like, take the same example. No need that you have to take a big industries, manufacturing unit, not required. Logic, concept remains the same. Everything works on the same logic, everything works on the same fundamentals. Depending on the organization, depending on the industry, depending on the country, there might be slight changes. Otherwise, the fundamental logics will remain the same. Why fundamental logics will remain the same? Because everything is legal here. You're doing a legal business. You're doing a legal business. For you to do legal business, you need to follow rules and regulations strictly. You cannot manipulate anything. You cannot bypass any rule, because this is not a normal grocery shop that you're running in your street and all, where you don't need any permission and all. Anybody can set up and all. This is not such kind of a business. This is a legal business. Before you start your business, you'll have to register your company name and all. It's a big process which we will be discussing once we start our regular classes. This is a legal business. For every legal business, there is a set of activities that are to be performed, and only once you complete one set of activity, next set of activity is possible. Otherwise, it is not possible. So you decide whether you're manufacturing the product or we are purchasing the product. Now, once we decide, okay, I need to make a sale, for that I need a product or services. Now you finalized, okay, some products we are manufacturing, some products we are purchasing from outside. Fine. Then you need to have funds for it. Funds are nothing but money. Funds are nothing but money or the investment capital, whatever you represent. Now, this funds, whatever you get it, either from your own investment or from the shares that you are issuing to the shareholders or to the public, because you can raise funds in any ways. Either you can invest your money or you can raise the funds through by issuing a checks or debenture, by issuing shares or debentures, or you can go for bank loans using any point. Either you're issuing a share or you're getting the loan from the bank or you're investing something from your own side. It depends. Now either ways or in any case, the moment that you invest money, the moment you introduce money into the business, you'll have to make sure that your money is properly controlled. When I say your money is properly controlled, every amount that you are spending is to be properly budgeted, is properly allocated. It's not that I have 200,000 with me or I have 10 lakhs with me. You can spend anywhere. All I want to see profit. Invest wherever you want. Spend how much ever you want. Bring an employee, if he is asking 10 lakhs per month, please pay 10 lakhs per month. I have 2 lakhs. But after 2 months, you will be zero. Meaning you need to have a budget. When I say you need to have a budget, you need to have a control. You should know what is the cost for everything, how much we can afford, whether you can afford or not. That's where you are going to do control on your money. Here comes your money controlling or putting something called budget, how you are going to have a budget and how you are planning your cost from your budget. First, you'll have to allocate some budget. Let's say I'm talking about my budget is 50,000 rupees. Now I can only plan my expenses. I can only plan my activities within my budgeted amount called 50,000. I cannot exceed 50,000 because this 50,000 is the budgeted amount. This is the maximum. When I'm talking about budget of a 50,000, this 50,000 budget becomes maximum. I cannot go beyond 50,000. So what I'll do, I need to plan my activities within 50,000. All these things are taken care by controlling, and then you need money. All the money, whatever you're investing, whatever you're getting, collecting, making payment, everything is controlled by your finance. And to do all the activities, you need somebody staff, and all your staff is nothing but your employees. Now these are the minimum things that you require to run or to start any business process or to set up any business, any organization, any company. Now the same points, if you represent it from SAP point of view. Now in SAP, you know that there are different modules. To deal with the different business processes, you have separate modules in SAP. There are so many modules in SAP which are broadly categorized as functional modules and then technical module. Now you are a FICO consultant. Likewise, you have ST consultant, MM consultant, ABAP consultant, basis consultant. For everybody, we are using a term called consultant. For everyone, we are using a term called consultant. These consultants are of two types. Point number one is a functional consultant. Point number two is a technical consultant. When you're talking about SAP FICO is a functional module. SAP FICO is a functional module. Wherever you have a business process related to your module, it is represented as functional module. If there is no business process for your module, then that is part of your technical module. In short, if you're talking about sales is a business process. You need to decide how my sales are supposed to happen. How do I sell it to my local customer? How do I sell it to my international customer? How do I collect money and all? It's a business process. Sales is a separate business process. Likewise, wherever you have a dedicated business process, you are going to represent with a functional module. We are going to represent that with a functional module. Anybody who is working on this functional module is represented as a functional consultant. Functional consultant does not represent any module. Functional consultant can include any module because you're not representing any function there. You're only representing plain function. If I'm not talking about sales function, purchasing function, accounting function, human resource function, quality function. I'm not representing any type of a function there. I'm just representing plain function. When I'm representing plain function, I'm talking about a business function, a business functionality, a business process related to what? Business process will always relate to particular activity, maybe sales, maybe purchases, maybe production, maybe accounting, maybe finance, maybe human resources, maybe quality check, like that, anything. Depending on that, you will decide, okay, which module is it? But at the end, whoever is working on the business processes, they're all represented as functional consultant. They're all represented as functional consultant. Point number one, you need to remember, as a SAP FICO consultant, you are represented as a functional consultant. There are technical consultant, there are functional consultant also, but we will be represented as functional consultant there. When we say that we will be represented as functional consultant, you are a functional consultant for which module? For FICO module. You are a functional consultant for FICO module. When somebody is asking about, we have a requirement for functional consultant, don't ask what is this functional consultant meaning. Don't ask that. Functional means it can be any business process: sales, purchase, accounting, finance, controlling, production, manufacturing, projects. It can be anything. Now in this example, when you're talking about profit, profit is not related to any module. Profit is not related to any module. This is just the result. This is just the result. When you're talking about sales, corresponding to sale, there is a module in SAP. Any idea what is the module which is related to sales in SAP?
SD, sir.
Sales and distribution.
SD, sir.
There's something called SD. SD is nothing but sales and distribution module. Now you have a dedicated consultant for SD or sales and distribution module who is responsible for managing the sale. Why there is a dedicated consultant for managing the sale? Here comes a point, a question. Now sales is something that we are using in our accounting. Agree? Are we using sales in our accounting or not? Where do
Yes.
you use sales in your accounting? Where do you write sales in your accounting? In which report your sales are represented? Balance
Profit
sheet?
and loss account.
Profit
Profit and
and
loss account.
trading
Yeah.
account.
In the P&L or in the profit and loss account, we will be representing sales. Now, sales is related to accounting also or not related to accounting also? Sales is related to accounting or not related to accounting?
Yes, sir.
Accounting
Related to
module.
accounting.
Accounting.
Right? Sales is related to accounting, but though sales is related to accounting, you are only responsible for sales figure. When I say sales figure, what is the sales value? Now, whenever you're talking about the sales, you're talking about goods and services. You are selling a product or you're selling a service. Now, you may be selling it to different customers. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
You will be selling it to different customer. Now, customers are related to accounting or not in any ways? In any way, is your customer related to accounting or not?
Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Where it is
Balance sheet.
related?
Balance sheet.
Receivables.
Balance sheet, correct? Where in balance sheet?
Customer receivables, account receivable.
Accounts receivable. Right? There is something called accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is connected to customer. Agree? Your customers are
Yes,
related
sir.
to accounts receivable. Now in the sales, you are selling a good or a product, meaning a product or a service. Now products and services are related to materials. Agree? Product is a material, service is also material for you,
Yep.
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, where you are going to put this material? You cannot do a magic and then bring whenever customer comes, product will appear from the air. It is not going to happen, right? You need to store the material because you have different kind of material. Some materials you have to keep it in the refrigerator. Some material you need to keep it at a certain temperature. Some material can be kept anywhere. Some material will have an expiry date and all. You'll have to manage all these things or not for this material, for the products basically. Yes, no. I need to make sure
Yes.
my materials are properly monitored or not. To monitor all my material,
Yes, sir.
what I need to do, I need to make sure that my material is having specific classification. Okay, this is a raw material, this is a semi-finished material, this is a finished material. This material specification is this, it is always supposed to be in the refrigerator only. Or this material specification is something else, it is not supposed to be frozen. Or another specification is this is a different kind of material which will be active or which will be available only for 2 days. After 2 days, this material will not be of any use. You have to throw the material after 2 days. Meaning, you have to sell the material in 2 days, otherwise, you'll have to throw the material. It's not that I can keep the material, I can sell until it is sold, I'll keep it with me. Not going to happen. Meaning, there are a lot of dependent activities when you talk about sales or not. It is not just a sale. There are many things to be considered or not.
Yes. Yes,
Right?
sir.
Now, likewise, whenever you're talking about any business process, slowly we need to think. Sales means, yeah, I understood sales, not going to work out. In your academics, this will work out when you're working as a consultant, when you're working in a project, when you're working in any organization, these thinking, these ideas will not work. Because here you have to be very specific. Because depending on the organization, depending on the industry, depending on the country, depending on the company, things will be frequently changing here and there. Now, depending on the place where you are at, you're at an organization, you're at an industry, you're in the interview, you're talking to somebody else. Accordingly, you need to make sure you're able to relate, you're able to understand that particular conversation. Don't think that according to me, sales means this. Only when you tell this, I will say that yes, I understood. Otherwise, I don't say no. These things will never work out. These things will never work out. It is always objective. When I say this is always descriptive or the objective, your objective may be different, my objective may be different, your context may be different, my context may be different, your understanding, your scenario may be different, my understanding, my scenario may be different, but at the end logic should be the same. At the end logic should be the same, concept should be the same. You can do it in any way but reach to the same point. I also reach to the same point. You should also reach to the point, but your route, your understanding may be different. My route, my understanding may be different. Because one way may be easier for you, another way may be easier for me. Right? But don't think that this is how I need to prepare it. There are no rules and regulations here. Understand it in any way, but make sure tomorrow when you explain it to somebody else, they get convinced. When you're able to convince the other person, that is where you represent, yes, your knowledge is good. And here you are not supposed to talk any definition. Keep in your mind. You're not supposed to talk any definition. You should talk based on your understanding only, strictly. This is not your school, college exam where you'll have to talk whatever there is in the textbook, whatever is given by your teacher. It is not going to be like that anymore. You are supposed to explain according to your experience. What is your understanding? According to your experience, what is your understanding? That is what you have to represent. As per your experience, your understanding may be different. As per my experience, my understanding may be different because you're talking from your experience. In your experience, you would have seen this in a different way. In my experience, I would have seen it in a different way. I tell what I have seen, what I understood. You tell what you have seen, what you understood. At the end, logic will be the same. You know that you're talking about accounting at the end, business process at the end, and you're talking about a legal business. You're not talking about any illegal business, you're hiding things and then making money. Those things are straight away ruled out. When it is a legal business, you have so many things You have so many points to be monitored. You have internal audit, you have external audit, you need to get different permissions and all, government authorities, tax authorities, so many things will be there. So there is no point that we go beyond the limit. Meaning, even when you are taking an example, even when you are thinking, please make sure you think in such a way that you will be able to relate it practically. Because initially when we start thinking about it, many things strike our mind, but make sure whether you are able to justify whatever points that are striking your mind, write down in a piece of paper or take an Excel sheet, type it and verify, okay, are these points correct? Is it really valid or not? Just like that, whatever comes in your mind, don't speak out like that to anybody, especially in the interview, in the project. You have to be very, very careful when you're talking to your clients, when you're talking to your user, when you're talking to your interviewer, or when you're talking to your team. Otherwise, whatever we are talking will put us in trouble. Otherwise, because we are talking something which is not relevant there, which is completely meaningless, will put us in trouble. Okay, you'll have to be very, very careful how you are thinking about it, what is your perception, whether you're able to get some ideas or not. If not, then you'll have to slowly develop it. How I can relate it, how I can think about it, why I'm not getting any things, why I'm not getting any thoughts. Is it something that I've never thought before, or is it something that I'm aware but somewhere I'm going wrong, where I'm going wrong, why I'm going wrong, why I'm not able to think. Tomorrow, when you're talking to your client, users, business, or with your project team member, this is what they're going to talk. Because only you know SAP FICO, your client doesn't know SAP FICO. So your client will always talk to you in the business language. When you're talking about business language, this is what they represent. They talk sales, purchase, production, manufacturing, administration, all these kind of things they will talk. Make sure you understand them and then you relate them with SAP FICO. When you're able to understand, when you're able to relate it with SAP FICO, that's where they feel that yes, this candidate is okay. Otherwise, no, this candidate is not okay. He is not able to understand what we are talking. Our requirements are not properly understood. Our requirement is different. What you delivered is different. We asked for some process, you delivered a process with some other attributes. This is not meeting our requirement. These things are common in the project because there is a communication gap, there is an understanding gap. When I say communication gap, understanding gap, because of different reasons, these things will happen. That is the reason everybody wants an experienced consultant. Why they want experienced consultant? Experienced not in SAP FICO configuration. Experience not in SAP FICO configuration, experience in business process. When we talk about experience in business process, you should know how a company works. You should know how a business operates, what things are there, what flow they will be using and all. If you are able to relate it, SAP FICO is nothing. I'll give you the T code configuration and all from my previous project. You will get it and you can do it in any project. But when you talk to the client tomorrow, when you are introduced to the user and all, you'll have to interact with the user on a daily basis or on a weekly basis for different reasons. There you cannot go with a notebook, material, document, content, or recording links and all. You cannot do it there. On the spot, you have to respond. On the spot, you have to provide solution, or you have to give demonstrations. You have to explain them the process how SAP works. Unless you are sure, unless you are confident, you will not be able to deliver it. You will not be able to talk to the customer. You will not be able to talk to the user client. And this is the reason why everybody wants an experienced candidate, not for your configuration skill set. It is, don't think that when you are experienced, you would have configured these things multiple times. This configuration within a day, you can do every topic 10 times. That is not what they're expecting. Their expectation is your experience on business process understanding strictly, not your configuration. 10 years experienced configuration also you can do it in 10 days. That's not a big deal because it is only configuration. But getting that understanding, getting that knowledge, getting that understanding, getting that knowledge will take time. Will take time, and that is never ending. That will take time. Point number one. Point number two, that is never ending. You need to make sure how comfortable you are with that. Tomorrow, a user is talking about their business process, whether you are able to understand or not. Simple example, some of you maybe having any experience in any domain. When I say domain, I'm talking about the core accounting. Let's say somebody would have worked as an accountant. Somebody would have worked as an accountant. Maybe if you work as an accountant, what normally will happen? As an accountant, you will be handling everything. You have to purchase, you have to sell, you have to go to bank to deposit money, you have to go to bank to withdraw money, you'll have to pay money to vendor, you'll have to collect money from customer, you'll have to prepare a tax filing, tax returns and all. You have to see how many assets are there. All these things you have to do, and you also have to prepare all the reports. Is this what an accountant does? Yes, no? Am I
Yes, sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
For example, on the other
Yes,
side,
sir.
you are working as an end user. In a MNC company, in a corporate company, you're working as an end user in accounts payable module. Now your work is limited to accounts payable. Within the accounts payable, you may be working as data entry operator or invoice processing agent. All you need to do is every day you go to office and you will be having invoices in front of you. You'll have to look at the invoice, input the data, meaning process the invoice. You may be having a target. Every day you have to record 100 invoices, 200 invoices, 150 invoices, likewise. Your work is based on the target. Or you are working as a master data management. When you're talking about you're working as a master data management, your activity is to create vendors, or your activities is to create materials, your activity is to create any other master data, or you'll have to manage the master data. When you're managing master data, either you're creating it or you're changing it. This is another activity. Or you're working on reporting. All you need to do is you just need to prepare reports, perform the different kind of reconciliation and all. Now here your work, your knowledge is limited, because you are supposed to work only on those areas. You have authorization, you have access in the system only for those content. Beyond that, you will not do anything, and you don't know anything there also, because even if it is part of accounts payable, even it is part of accounts receivable, GL, tax, cash, bank, reporting, anything, your work is again limited there, because you are a user. Because you are a user, as a user, your work will be limited. If you are working in AP, you will be working in AP for 5 years. If you are working in GL, you will be working in GL for 5 years. You are working in reconciliation, you will be in reconciliation for 5 years. Whatever the tenure that you work, you will be sticking to the same work, same activity day in, day out. But as a consultant, it is not the same. As a consultant, it is not the same. As a user, if I have, let's say, 25 business processes, AP, AR, likewise, if I subdivide everything, assuming I have 25 business processes, now for every business process, I have a separate department, I have a separate team in my organization. Within accounting, I'm talking about. Within accounting, I have 25 different users who are working on accounting on different areas. One is responsible only for customer invoices. Another one is responsible only for customer payments. One is responsible for vendor invoice, vendor payment, or bank reconciliation, operating the bank accounts. Somebody up managing fixed assets, somebody taxes, somebody. Likewise, I have different departments, different set of user. Now, if I bring you as a FICO consultant in my organization, if I bring you as a FICO consultant in my organization, because I segregated my business process into 25 partitions, I am using 25 different users who are working on my sub processes of my business. Do I need a 25 FICO consultants, or I need only one FICO consultant? What is the company's expectation? I have 25 users. Do I need one consultant for every user, or I need only one consultant for all the user for FICO, for accounting?
One consultant for all the users.
One consultant.
It is straightforward. You need only one consultant. Agree with me, right? Agree, everyone? You need only one consultant. One FICO consultant should manage everything. Now here, as a consultant, do you have any option that, okay, I'll ignore this, I'll ignore this, I'll ignore this, I'll focus only on this? Possible or not?
No,
Is that recommended?
No,
not recommended.
no.
Because you have to handle, you have to manage all the users of an organization. You have to handle all the users of an organization, and here you're not supposed to think from an end user point of view. When you're thinking from an end user point of view, you will be more focused on the data entry. When I say you're more focused on the data entry, end user activity is to do data entry or reporting reconciliation. That they will anyways do it. But how they need to do it, what they need to do it, what procedure they need to follow, what sequence they need to adopt, in case if there are any problems, how you are going to rectify the problem. First of all, what is a setup in the system, how they need to use it. Who is going to tell? User will know on their own, or consultant will have to tell them.
Consultant has to tell them.
Consultant.
Right? These things are supposed to be explained or taught by the consultant. Now, why consultant is aware of it? Because consultant is the person who set up the system. Agree? Consultant is the person who set up the system, who developed that system. Now,
Yes.
on what basis consultant set up the system? On what basis consultant developed the system? Based on their business process, based on their business requirement. Agree?
Yes.
Consultants
Completely.
set up the system based on their business requirement, based on their business process. Meaning, even before end user coming into the picture to operate SAP FICO, consultant is coming first. Consultant is sitting with the business user or your client's user. He is understanding what is their current business process, how they are using the current system, what is the procedure that they are following. Accordingly, you are going to decide how this is supposed to be used in SAP. Okay, whether it is possible, not possible, whether there is any solution, there is no solution. As a consultant, you need to tell. How you need to tell? By talking about SAP or by not talking about SAP?
By talking about SAP only.
About SAP, not by talking about SAP, because you're talking about, we are understanding their existing business process. When you're understanding their existing business process, there is no SAP, or that process is not available in SAP at this moment. Agree? For example, if I'm talking about sales at this moment, now we don't have any SAP. I have not shown you anything related to SAP. You don't know the terms and all used in SAP. First of all, what I need to understand, I need to understand your existing sales process or not. I don't need SAP here. All I need is how you are currently doing your sales. It's not that you are a fresh company, only after SAP go live, we will start our business, we will start selling product to customer. Is that the situation anywhere?
No, no.
It's not the situation. Your business is running already. And since your
Yes,
business
yes.
is already running, you are seeing that, okay, my business is expanding. My current system is not sufficient. I need to upgrade my system. I need to upgrade my system. That is where you are going to bring SAP as a replacement of existing system. Now, this existing system, whatever you are using, is represented as legacy system. When you're replacing your legacy system with SAP system, you need to understand what is the current business process. We need to understand what is the current business process. Accordingly, you are going to decide whether it is possible, not possible. If it is not possible, what is the alternative? Am I correct? But before you decide it is possible, not possible, first of all, you need complete business process or not. Yes, no?
Yes. Yes. We need
Yes, sir.
complete
Right?
Required.
If I do not give my requirement, if I do not tell what is my complete business process, on what basis you do it? It doesn't mean that you do not know SAP. You know SAP, you know config everything, but unless and until you know my requirement and you get my confirmation, yes, this is what I want, you're not supposed to do anything, because as we discussed, at the end, this is a business. Agree? At the end, this is a business, and I need to understand your requirement. I need to get your confirmation. Yes, this is what we discussed. This is what we agreed. This is what we finalized. You have to approve it, confirm it. I have to approve it, confirm it. We both will agree it. Okay, this is our agreement. This is what we've discussed together. When I set up the system and when you look at the system, it has to be the same, whatever we have documented. Yes or no? Tomorrow, I
Yes.
will forget what we discussed yesterday. You will also forget what we discussed yesterday. Or I may get confused about what we've discussed. You also may get confused what we discussed, because this is not something that we're discussing today, doing it or meeting immediately the next day. This will take some time. Maybe I'm taking 1 week time, 1 month time, 2 month time, 3 month time, 1 year time to complete a project. Agree? Who will remember
Agree.
all these things? In between, you may resign and go. In between, I may resign and go. Possible.
Yes.
So why we need to make sure that the business process is important? Because it is always supposed to be based on the process, not based on the person. It's not that Ajay told me like this, assuming that Ajay is the user. Ajay told me this is what they need in SAP. This is what their current process, this is what they wanted. Let's say that one fine day Ajay resigned and then left the organization. In place of Ajay, somebody else has come. Now somebody else is telling, no, this is not what we wanted, you change it. Changes are not possible at every stage. Changes are possible only at a selected stages. Only these certain changes are possible. Certain changes are once defined not possible. Am I correct? Once you define
Yes.
something, certain changes, certain corrections are not possible. Meaning you have to be very, very careful when you're taking the requirement. When you're not careful while taking the requirement, it will put you in unnecessary trouble. And you'll have to foresee everything. You'll have to anticipate, you'll have to imagine everything. Okay, if this goes wrong, everything will go for a toss. I need to make sure this is clear. This requirement is clear. Client is aligned to it. Users are confirming it on a written emails. That's where you talk about documenting the business process, preparing the documentation for every activity, getting the documentation confirmed or signed off. If there is no documentation, if there is no written confirmation, tomorrow anybody can change. No, 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 this is not what I told. Then I'll open the document, whatever we've discussed. Please find the attached document that we have already discussed and you have already confirmed it. If it is not there in the document and now they are changing their word, they have to give that as an additional requirement. Agree? Because it was not given at the beginning. Now they are bringing that point. Then this becomes an additional requirement. If you are not able to understand these points, it will be very difficult for the overall project, not only to you. You will put the total project in trouble. That is the reason everybody wants experienced candidate. Now your experienced candidate doesn't mean experience in SAP FICO configuration, experience in SAP FICO project execution. What happens in a project? What will be the activity of a consultant? How consultant will have to behave in the project with the project team members, with the project manager, with the user, with the client, in meetings, in training sessions and all is something that you should know. This comes only when you have experience. And when somebody is expecting, we need experienced candidate of 3 months, 3 year, 4 year, 2 year, and so on. They're expecting that minimum fundamentals you are having. When you have these minimum fundamentals, it is easy for you to get the job. It is easy for you to manage the job. If these fundamentals are missing and you're focusing only on the configuration, wherever you go, you will get rejected because these points are missing in you. And these are the points which you cannot practice. Can you practice these points, what we're talking now? Can you open the
No.
system and practice this? You cannot practice it.
No, sir.
These are the things that you should understand. These are the things that you should have in you as a built-in. Meaning these are all prerequisite. If these points are not there, if these fundamentals are not there, you're not tuning your mindset to understand the business process. You're not tuning your mindset to understand how SAP works, how consultant works, how you have to deal with your clients, users, project team members and all. If these points are not tuned right from the beginning, at the end, one fine day, these are not going to happen. Somebody please go on mute. Those who are not on mute, these points are not going to happen overnight. These points will take time. Mohan, can you please go on mute? Okay, these points will take time. That is the reason right from the beginning, you'll have to make sure points that are required are focused properly. 1 minute. We need to make sure all these things are taken care right from the beginning. Now this is something that we were talking only about testing. What about production or manufacturing? Which module is corresponding to it in SAP? Manufacturing. PP. There's something called PP. PP is nothing but production planning. PP is nothing but production planning here. Next thing, you have procurement. When you're talking about procurement, what it is related to?
MM.
This is related to materials management. Correct. And when it comes to control,
CO mode.
this
CO.
is related to CO, controlling. Correct. When it comes to finance,
FI.
FI.
this is your FI. When it comes to staff,
HR.
this is your HR. Usually we call it as HCM or SF now. We don't call it as HR anymore. Those who are not talking, please go on mute immediately. Sudhakar. Okay, this is called as HCM or SF. In short, human capital management or success factor. Okay, HR is the old term that which we no longer use it now in terms of SAP. We're not talking about in a generic way. Since we are learning SAP FICO, since we are becoming SAP FICO consultant, you need to make sure things that you're connecting are related to SAP FICO. Now within SAP FICO, now everybody uses SAP S4 HANA. Points that you're understanding, that you're remembering, that you're understanding logically, conceptually, should be corresponding to SAP S4 HANA, because now in the market, there's nothing called ECC. It's all about S4 HANA. Whatever the project that is going on is all S4 HANA projects only. ECC projects stopped. When we say ECC project stopped, we are talking about implementing SAP for ECC is stopped. ECC project is only going on for the purpose of support alone. Those who are already using ECC, they will be supported until 2027. Those who are using SAP, ECC will be supported until 2027. After that, they have to move on to S4 HANA system. They have to migrate or they have to move to SAP S4 HANA system. Now you need to make sure everything that you're learning, everything that you're remembering, understanding the logic concept should correspond to S4 HANA system only. Tomorrow when you go to interview, when you attend any interview, everybody wants SAP S4 HANA skill set from you. You should be in a position to manage, handle SAP S4 HANA system, not ECC. Tomorrow if they get any new project of any implementation kind of thing, they want a candidate who can handle S4 HANA system. They want a candidate who can manage or who can work on S4 HANA system. You cannot say, no, I have not worked on S4 HANA. My experience is only on ECC. You will be rejected. Because their project is S4 HANA. They want somebody who can work on S4 HANA. Though there are only very minimal changes between ECC to HANA with respect to FICO. But you need to make sure you are learning, you are understanding how you are expressing yourself, how you are introducing yourself should be very, very careful. You cannot say no, you have to be very logical, you have to be very calculated. Only then things will work, otherwise things will not work. Okay. Now here, this is your success factor or this one. And these are the two things which are related to SAP FICO that we are talking about. FI and CO. Though we talk about FI and CO, we are talking about FI as a separate module, CO as a separate module. Though we have listed these two separately, FI is a separate module, CO is a separate module, because tomorrow everybody will tell FI CO consultant. Nobody will tell FI consultant. Everybody says FI CO consultant. You also don't tell FI. You also talk about FICO. Agree? Right? You're not going to tell I am a FI. You will always tell I am FICO, meaning you are telling I know FI and CO. Now these points are related to your module, meaning you are learning, you are understanding SAP FICO, in short, finance and control. financing, financial accounting, and controlling. Controlling is nothing but cost and management accounting. And these points you'll have to remember. Now, coming back to this, manufacturing, we were talking about PP. PP is where you're dealing about production or manufacturing of a product. When you're talking about procurement, it is all about purchases. All the purchases, whatever you're making, is handled by MM side. Similarly, controlling how you want to control your money, cost, and all. Everything is controlled in CO module. FI, all your accounting portion will be taken care by FI. Preparation of your trial balance, P&L, balance sheet. For that, whatever is required, everything is taken care by FI. And then HCM, all your employees' salaries, bonus, whatsoever you have, is taken care by SF or success factor, in short, HCM. Slowly, when you have these points in your mind, it is practically possible for you to relate different other points. If these points are missing, you will not be able to relate any other point, because in your mind it is only FICO. And when you're talking about sales, you're talking about sales are part of FI. No, there is a separate module for sales in SAP. When you're talking about purchases, purchase is part of FI, yes, but there is a separate module for purchases. Now, these are all integrated with each other. These are all having dependency with the other module. In short, in order to do any sale, you need some data from MM side, you need some data from FI side. Am I correct? In order to do any sale, you need some information from FI side, you need some information from SD side, or you need some information from MM side, some other module also. How you are going to tackle these things? These are all handled with the help of integrations. You heard something called integration, especially FI MM integration, FI SD integration. Anybody heard?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, sales is something that you're representing in your financials, in your accounting. You are going to represent your sales on P&L. On P&L, you are going to represent sales. In order to calculate profit, you need to know what is your sale. Now, sales are handled by a different module called ST. From ST module, you need information to be updated in FI module. For that, you need to create an integration between FI and ST. So this is nothing but your FI ST integration. Your sales module is integrated with finance module. Similarly, when you're talking about purchases, in order to calculate your profit along with the sales, you also need purchase or not? Yes, no? To find out profit along with the sales, do I need purchases or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Purchase required.
Right? So to get the purchases in my P&L, I need to get the data from my procurement side. Procurement is nothing but MM side. To get the data from MM side to FI side, you have another integration called FIMM integration. Right? Likewise, there are different integrations. Wherever there is monetary impact, or wherever there is a accounting impact, wherever there is a finance impact, there is an integration. Wherever there is a cash inflow, cash outflow, or money inflow, money outflow, or funds inflow, funds outflow, meaning monetary impact is there. Wherever it is, it can be in any module, there is an integration. You need to get that information in accounting. Otherwise, you will be missing the data. With missing the data, your accounts are inaccurate. With missing data, your accounts are inaccurate. You need to make sure everything is taken care. Otherwise, at the end, you will be able to know. At the end, you will be able to know. For example, if you take a simple example, let's say you went for an outing. You went for an outing, and while going for outing, you had 1000 with you. What is the available amount with you while going to outing? 1000. Now, 1000 is available amount while going for outing. Let's say you did some expenses there. Let's say you filled some fuel. Let's say 200 rupees fuel you filled. Now, all the amount that I'm going to do minus here. You spent for some food, let's say 150. I'm deducting all my expenses from my amount. And let's say you did something called some fun activities you performed, let's say 300 rupees. Now here my available amount is only 350. For example, I have given, let's say on the way or on the road, somebody came to me, some beggar or somebody came to me. I have given, let's say some 20 rupees to somebody on the way, on the road, or maybe somewhere. I found a kid or I found some old person or somebody, kind of a beggar or who is asking for some money, help. I gave 20 rupees to them. If I ignore it, because this is not something that I got any benefit from here, correct? Here I filled fuel, I got something, I had food, I had something, I had fun, I spent something, but is there any benefit like that here?
No.
Let's say you just donated this, to somebody. You donated just 20 rupees to somebody, but you did not get any benefit in return, yes or no?
Yes.
Here you got fuel, here you got food, here you had enjoyment, but here nothing as such. In return, you did not get anything. You only gave 20 rupees to somebody. Can I ignore this?
No, sir.
No,
No,
you
sir.
can't ignore it.
No, sir. You cannot ignore this.
If I ignore it, what will happen? My amount will become 350. If I ignore it, my amount will become 350. If I show that I have 350 rupees, will I be correct or I'll be wrong?
You'll be wrong
Wrong, sir.
because you
But
only have
when I when
330.
I right when I represent 330, will I be right?
Correct, sir.
Alright. Now it can be for any purpose, even if it is 1 rupee. It can be for any purpose. Purpose is ruled out from the list. There is nothing called this is for this purpose, this is an exception, nothing like that. Anything which is going in or anything which is going out from your business, you'll have to monitor, you'll have to record it in your accounting. No exception here. Strictly no exception here. If you're taking any exception, that is not a legal business. You're doing some fraud here. That is why for accounting, there is something called audit. You heard something called audit?
Yes. Yes.
Now this audit is of two types. One is your internal, another one is
External.
external. Now this audit, what they will do, they will make sure whether your accounting process is going on a timely basis or not. Is it happening as per the company policy or not? Every company will have a policy. At the same time, every company will have to follow the guidelines provided by the respective country's accounting standards or accounting principle, maybe IFRS, US GAAP, Indian accounting standard, yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Every company will have to follow these guidelines. At the same time, every company will have their own policies, internal policies, corporate guidelines, corporate policies, yes, no? And everything will have to be taken care while recording or while doing any accounting. And as a consultant, you have to be aware of these fundamental points. You cannot say, I don't know this, I forgot this, I'm not aware of it. According to me, FICO means only configuration, go to T code, do this, then you're out of the picture. Forget about FICO. Along with your configuration, there are so many activities, there are so many things that you should know. If you are focusing only on FICO configuration, you will be ruled out. Straight away you'll be outdated. No matter how expert you are on SAP FICO config, if you do not know certain other points, you will be outdated. You will not be taken anywhere. You getting my point, right? Meaning wherever there is a money inflow, money outflow, you'll have to monitor it. As a FICO consultant, you will be involved, or you may have to be involved in any project, in any module, in any discussion. Sometimes some discussion may be happening in the project where you're not at all recommended, required there, but all of a sudden you will be called into the call. All of a sudden you will be requested to join the meeting. because there is a financial impact. Because there is a financial impact, how you will tackle it in your accounting and all, they want you to talk. You cannot say, I don't know what is it. You have to be aware of it. That's where your experience is coming into picture, right? Yes or no? They're not asking about how do you handle it in accounting and all. They want you to say how this is handled in SAP. Is there any way, is there any solution logic in SAP to meet this requirement to handle this? For that situation, you may be asked to join any kind of a meeting, any kind of a discussion when another module consultant or when your project manager is with the client or is with the user. How you are going to handle it? You cannot say in front of client, I don't know this. Can you say? No, I don't know what is it. No, I've not worked on it. Can you tell in front of your client,
No.
No,
user?
sir.
If you
No.
tell it, your client
No, sir.
user will immediately tell why you are bringing somebody who is not aware of it,
Who's inefficient?
right? So certain things you cannot say. That doesn't mean you should know everything. You should be at least manageable. You should be at least manageable, at least manage there. Then later on you do it. You do it. Nobody knows everything, including me. I also do not know everything in SAP FICO. But when the requirement comes, when situation comes, on anything I can handle. Any situation I can handle, any requirement I can handle. I have that confidence. Doesn't mean I have everything in my mind. What I know is the logic. What I know is the concept. When you know the logic, when you know the concept on any situation, on any requirement, in any project, in any organization, with anybody, you can manage. But that is not something that you get through configuration. This is something that you'll get through your experience. This is something that you'll get through your understanding. If you're not having experience, it is okay, but at least you should have that experienced understanding, right? That knowledge, that skill set to be used, to be followed. If you're able to develop it, if you're able to keep in your mind, the way that you talk, the way that you explain, the way that you discuss with the different people will get changed. Those changes is something that you have to realize. And when you talk to your friend or whosoever, they should also feel the difference. Now you're talking in a different way. When you start asking the cross questioning, your questions should be meaningful. Why this, why that, what is the meaning of it, what is the T code of it? Stop asking these questions. Nobody will ask you anywhere in this. It's only you and then your friend who is learning SAP FICO, who is practicing only config will discuss. If you talk to somebody who is working in a project, they are least bothered about config because
Yes, sir, I have
they
one
know that.
question here.
Sorry.
I have one question here. Whether we will be doing some FIPP integration or FI HCM integration, because there also we will be involving cash.
Integration we will not do it there because I'm not going to configure product costing here, but I'll show how these are integrated. The integration points I'll explain.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, as a FICO consultant, what you will do on this PP integrations, PS integration, your success factor, HCM integration, I'll explain.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So you need to make sure on all the areas you should have the knowledge, you should have the minimum basic fundamental understanding. Otherwise, practically when you do the configuration, practically when you practice SAP FICO, and when you're sitting in any interview, when you're sitting with any project team in front of any user client, you will be very uncomfortable. When I say you will be very uncomfortable, you will realize that no, I'm not able to understand anything. I know all the configuration, but I don't know what to do here. You know all the configuration, but you do not know what to do here. Meaning, though you have knowledge, though you have configuration, everything is aware, you are very good at it, but still you cannot deliver anything because you do not know what to give there. Because certain things will put you in a very risky situation. Certain things will may affect your job also. You may lose your job because of something that you have done. It's not that you have done incorrect, but you have done something which is not relevant there. You're talking where you're not supposed to talk. You're revealing, you're telling something that you should not tell. And it is also important you should know what you need to talk to your user, your client, what you're not supposed to talk and disclose with your client. You can be friendly with your client, your user, but doesn't mean that you reveal all your consulting secret and all. And in every project, in every organization, there is something called NDA, Non-disclosure agreement. Anybody is aware of it?
No, sir.
Anybody? There is something called NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Most of you would have seen some kind of SAP blogs, SAP notes and all, or SAP forum discussions on Google, like help.sap.com, scn.help.sap.com kind of a thing. Some screenshots, when they put there, they gray out certain things, they blur certain things. Anybody noticed it? Especially company code, customer code, or name, some things they will gray out it,
Yes.
Blur.
mask
Yeah,
it.
yes, yes.
Meaning
Yes, sir.
you're not supposed to reveal it. That is your client system. You're not supposed to reveal it. Those are all part of NDA agreements. And tomorrow, if somebody comes to know that for example, you are my client and I have all your information details with me. You have given your details information to me, trusting me that I'll not reveal it to anybody. Agree? Yes or no? Your personal details are shared with me, considering that I will not share it with anybody else. Is that the expectation, or you're fine even if I share with anybody? You're fine if I share it with anyone?
No.
No.
That is confidential, right? It is supposed to be between you and me. And I need to make sure this is not disclosed or shown to anybody. You also should make sure that no, this is not disclosed or shown to anybody. Now these things are happening. Sometimes what will happen, those who get the job newly, they may take screenshot, they may take documents, copy, print out and all, they will show to their friends and all. For example, you are learning SAP FICO. You definitely want to see how it looks like in real time. Can you show me something? You'll have that excitement or not? Yes, no. Show me something in real system, how it looks like and all. For example, I got a job newly. I took, okay, since you asked, I took a screenshot and all, I shared it to you. It's fine. I gave it to you. This is how the system looks like. This is my client system. Look at this setting. It is the same like what we did in our practice. See the screenshot. Same thing we did. Now you saw that. Oh, okay, very good. Then you may have another friend. You may forward that image or thing to some other friend. Possible or not?
Yeah,
Yes
possible.
or no?
Yes, yes.
Like this, nobody knows to where it will go. As a consultant, you only have no control. You only breached the control and then you forward it and you are telling your friend not don't send anybody. Your friend also will follow you because he is your friend. Whatever you did, your friend also will do the same thing. Your friend will tell somebody else after sending, don't send anybody. His friend also will do the same thing. He will send somebody, don't send anybody. But everybody is doing the same thing. Whatever you did, everybody is giving the same impact. Now, if it is gone somewhere or if somebody has seen it, but this is my project, my organization project, how come this screenshot is moving in the outside? This is related to, okay, accounting entry related one, okay, this screen. Definitely, my FICO consultant would have done it. Possible or not? One can easily trace. Yes, no. The moment these kind of things are traced, you will be terminated on the spot. That day will become your last day in your organization, meaning certain things you should never do it. Forwarding the attachments of your client and all to your Gmail address and all, you should never do it. That is why if you see any organization laptops, if you put pen drive, they don't work. Anybody noticed it? Especially consultants. You have a laptop given by the office. When you put pen drive there, it will not detect. That pen drive port will only work when you put mouse and keyboard. It will not detect any data. Anybody noticed it?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because these are all the points. They're all the security breach, and if these things are done, gone. Nobody can save you. Even your project manager can also not save you. Because these are all as per the company's policy. Anybody violating these things will be terminated on the spot. No exception. Strictly no exception. And if you do not know all these fundamental points, all these basics, even after getting the job, it takes very less time for you to lose the job. That is why you will see somebody is saying after getting the job, they lost the job. Anybody heard?
Yeah, yeah. I heard it.
People will tell I got a job as a FICO consultant. After 2 months, 3 months, they lose the job. Not because they don't know the configuration, because they don't know how to work as a consultant, they don't know how to behave as a consultant, they don't know how they have to manage the work as a consultant, they don't know the basic fundamentals also. These things cannot be taught by anybody, right? If you don't know the configuration, your senior consultant will help you, your friend, your manager, your lead will help you. Go to this T code, check this, anybody can tell you. That basic fundamental, will anybody tell you? Nobody will tell you. They expect these are the minimum things that you should have learned. They cannot tell everything, right? Certain things is okay, but certain things strictly not acceptable. Likewise, there are so many things that you have to know, that you have to understand before you start understanding, before you start looking at what is SAP FICO. Only then you can relate practically, okay, these are all the things that I should be aware of. Only then I can easily manage in my project, else it will be very difficult. That's the reason most of the people who learn SAP FICO, they find it difficult to get the job, not because they don't know SAP FICO config. They're experts in SAP FICO config than me, than you. But still, they're not getting the job even after attending so many interviews because of different reasons. Something else is missing. Those points you should not find it that they are missing in you. When you feel that, yes, I'm aware of all these points, when you talk, considering all these points in your mind, you will talk in a different way. You will think twice whether I'm talking right or wrong. You will start guessing, and you will not blindly refer anything, you will not blindly follow any content. You will start thinking, is this right or wrong? So currently what will happen, whatever the content comes in your way, blindly we follow, blindly we read. That is wrong. Any document that is coming, any video that is coming, any material that is coming, people will blindly sit and go through it. At the end, there is nothing in it, meaning you are not able to understand anything. If there are any mistakes in it, if it is not meaningful, if it is not valid, you still remember it because you don't know what is right, what is wrong. Whatever is coming, you are blindly consuming everything, meaning in your mind, you are dumping everything. It will become inaccurate subject, all bits and pieces. When you want something, you'll not get accurate answer. You'll not be able to talk in a convincing way, in a logical way, because nothing is clear in your mind. Nothing has got complete picture in your mind. Everything is bits and pieces. When you talk with bits and pieces, nobody knows. It may get connected in the interview. It may not get connected in the interview. Meaning, getting a connection is like a lottery ticket. Everywhere you go and scratch, but sometimes you may get the price is most of the time better luck next time, better luck next time, better luck next time. That's what happens. Where you're depending on the lottery ticket. Don't go depend on the lottery ticket. Be sure short. I know that the subject, when I go to the market, I know what to talk, I know what they're expecting. I am clear with what I am knowledge about. I'm confident about getting the job, you will get the job. Otherwise, you have to depend on the lottery ticket. Go scratch every interview, everywhere you will get better luck next time, better luck next time. Until you get the lottery ticket, you have to keep on scratching. And what you will guess, where is the price? You don't know, you cannot even guess. It is not supposed to be like that. When you're sitting practicing, it is not supposed to be like that. 1-2 times or first 2-3 interviews is okay, but after that also you're failing in every interview, you should immediately stop attending interviews. Immediately you should stop attending interviews. See where you're going wrong, why things are not happening. Else, it's a lottery ticket. Go scratch everywhere until you get the prize money. Keep on scratching. And one fine day will happen. Every company that shows the requirement, you say that no, I already gave interview here, I already gave interview here, I already gave interview here. Meaning certain experiments, certain things you should not do if you are not confident. Until you gain confidence, you have to be a little patient. Then when you go to the market, you will get what you want. Else, as I mentioned, lottery ticket. Alright, fine then. Let me stop this here. The remaining portion we will continue in the tomorrow's session. Okay? Yeah. Bye.
Okay, sir. Bye, sir.